Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I'm in the mood for some actual spooky stories, so keep tired, reheated pasta and the same old regurgitated screen caps out of here. Post some of your creepiest experiences in this thread.
Browsing 4chan at 3 a.m. on the first floor. See movement out of the corner of my eye. Figure it's sleep deprivation being an asshole again. Something big walks past right by the window. Nearly shit myself. It's a fucking deer. Get out onto the porch and shout at the deer. It just stands there and looks at me. Go back inside. Put on shoes. Walk back out, shouting and hollering at the garden ruiner. It just stands there, staring at me. When I'm about 4 feet away from it, I freeze. Hairs on my neck stand on end. Feel like me and Bambi aren't alone out here. Why am I terrified? Oh God. The deer just keeps fucking staring at me. Nope, back inside. Lock the door. Sit myself back down by the laptop. The deer is standing right outside the window. Muzzle inches away from the glass. Just staring at me. Bang the window a few times to get it to back off. It gives no fucks. Close the curtains. Continue browsing 4chan while waiting for my pulse to settle to normal levels. Then go to bed. And that is my shitty story. I've yet to have another nightly encounter with one of those rose-ruining bastards.
I swear there was something weird going on with our local grocery store, because I have 3 stories about it. Be 17, have a summer job at the store, working night shift from 4 till 11. By the time we cleaned and locked up, it was usually 11:45. Almost finished cleaning. Want to go home. Take out the trash in back. The dumpster is in an empty gravel parking lot. Back inside. Go to lock the door. Big ass boom, like something got thrown against the door. Open the door. Nothing. I didn't see anything while dumping the trash. Didn't hear gravel crunching from something moving around. So what the fuck? Nope. Lock the door. Get to the storefront waiting for someone to say it was a prank. They never do. Second story. Same summer. Night shift again. Didn't mind. Not as busy. Almost a month since the door noise. Restocking a shelf. Pork and beans cans. I remember because they were on sale and I had to bag so many of them. Went to get another case. Come back. Half the cans are on the floor like someone just put their hand up and swept them off. Don't see any troublemakers nearby. Ask the cashiers if they heard or saw anyone, because the store is nearly empty. No. Why? A bunch of cans got knocked down. Really? We didn't hear anything. Bullshit. Because this was 2 rows over and some of them were dented from the fall. Shit was not quiet. Don't know what to make of it. Go back to reshelving. Driving home when I remember the door noise and now this. General feeling of weirdness mixed with nope. Last story, near the end of that summer. Surprise, surprise, night shift. Notable. Because the manager who was working with us was a pretty cool guy and helped with the shelves and bagging. Just out of the break room when an old lady asks for an item I've never heard of. Ask her to follow me, because I know that the manager, aka M, is setting up a display near the break room and M knows where everything is. Walk up to him with her behind me. Ask about the item. It's 1 row from where we were. The last row in the store. All 3 of us go to the spot, and M gets the item down off the top shelf. M's tall as hell. Turn to the customer. She's gone. Check the next aisle. She's not there. We each take an end of the aisles and walk the whole store looking for her. She's gone. Ask the cashiers. They tell us no one has entered or left for at least 20 minutes. Afraid she's got some old lady brain disease. We tell the cashiers to watch the doors and we check all the back rooms. Nothing. She's fucking gone. Interrogate the cashiers because they're right by the doors. No one recalls an old lady matching our description. M and I are filled with nope. M refuses to talk about it for the rest of the summer.
Be at work. This happened in the past half hour. Be sitting outside a mental health patient's room. At exactly midnight, the patient starts moaning. Check. Still sleeping. Probably just because he's bonkers. Notice a temperature drop. Assume it's because it's winter and nighttime in an old hospital. The patient stops moaning at the exact same time there was a gust of wind. Gust of wind. Inside. Get the feeling to check on the patient. The patient is sitting up in bed. The patient says I should do a better job keeping people out. I say nobody came in. The patient says I should probably leave the room then. I leave the room, door wide open, to see the patient. See a shadow move across the wall, even though there's only one stationary light source. The door closes just enough for me to not be able to see the corner of the room. The patient is still sitting in bed. The patient begins talking. Appears to be rough self. Pic related. My face when. Nope.jpg. Act like it never happened and lurk/x/catalog for the nope thread. Continue sitting outside the room and doing my job.
Parents get divorced when I'm 13. Mom, brother, and I moved to an old house. This house was purchased off of a family friend. It's a fairly small house, so my hideaway was in the basement where I had a pretty comfy setup similar to the basement in that 70s show. I start noticing strange things. For example, noticed a bunch of the cupboards opened when I was home alone, and I could swear I shut them. Plus dishes falling off the counter shattering on the ground when I left them in the sink. The shower curtain regularly falling down when it was attached with a U-shaped bracket, and the only way to remove the rod is to lift it straight up. One day I'm sitting in the basement alone and I hear clear footsteps. My mom is out of town for the weekend and my brother is at his girlfriend's house trying to get laid. The footsteps are so clear. It's not just the house creaking. I assume it's either my brother pranking me or I'm getting robbed. I grab a hockey skate, the only thing I could find as a suitable weapon, and yell up the stairs that I'm armed and I'm gonna fuck shit up if you don't get the fuck out. The footsteps stop immediately. Didn't run for the door as I hoped, just stopped dead in their tracks. Holy shit, this asshole wants a fight. I run up the stairs with a battle cry because in my 13-year-old head, I think I'm sounding intimidating. There's no one there. When my mom gets home, I say in a joking tone, "I think we have a ghost, heh." Mom looks at me nervously like she has those suspicions too. What the fuck, Mom? Say something to make me feel better for fuck's sake. Right in this moment, we were in the front lawn raking leaves. A goddamn dead bird dropped to the ground. Fuck, Mom says unconvincingly. No such things as ghosts, even though she's clearly spooked. We moved out shortly after for unrelated reasons, but after we moved out, my mom told me she saw an old woman ghost several times at the house. The previous owner had told my mom about the old woman ghost but assured her it was a friendly ghost. My mom at the time thought it was bullshit, as the previous owner was bipolar and she thought it was just an episode. Not as spooky as many stories posted here, but everything I said is true. I'm still skeptical, but it was spooky.
This is a sort of disturbing story about something I experienced and I tell every now and then. Be in high school. Have to do social charity bullshit to graduate. Everyone has to. Decide on a nursing home because of shits and giggles, and maybe the folks know something of value. There's about 2 lucid guys in the place. One has Parkinson's. The non-Parkinson one is named Pablo. He turns out to be a painter. I am an aspiring artist, so pretty excited. He's pretty depressed. I ask him to paint me something, please, and maybe that'll make him happy. He tells me to bring oil paints, canvas, and gas, or thinner. I bring the stuff, and the day goes on. A couple of days later, Pablo is nowhere to be found. Ask the head nurse where the hell he is. Oh, they picked him up already. He left. Where's my canvas and my shit? He didn't leave anything. Charity goes on as usual. Eventually ask another nurse. Do you know anything about Pablo? He's dead. What? When we checked on him in the morning, he was dead. My face when I helped him off himself. My face when my fucking paints and shit. Nope.
Be about 16. Travel to Washington State for the summer. Staying with family. One weekend, we get the idea to go camping. We decide to take the boat out on one of the larger lakes so we can find somewhere to camp that's isolated. It's the middle of summer and we're at the base of Mount Rainier, so the place is always full of tourists. Find a spot on the far side of the lake, super dense and completely isolated, really in the middle of nowhere. We dock, set up the camp, and for the rest of the day everything went fine. We're all sitting around it. Me, my uncle, and my 2 cousins, then we hear twigs snapping. There's 4 of us. Me and my cousins made spears. Oh, that's cute. And my uncle brought his magnum. Anyways, we ignore the snapping and the night goes on. About an hour later, it's back, kinda getting annoying. Very loud. Has to be some kind of large animal. We're all young, fit boys, wink. So we say, fuck it, let's go get this thing. So the next time we hear it, we all jump up and straight bolt into the woods after it. Dumb, I know. Oh shit, it's dark out, I forgot. And we didn't bring flashlights. Pull out our phones, using the flashlight feature and screen light. Anyway, we end up spread out fanning around like dumbasses with our sticks and phones. A few minutes go by and we find nothing. Our uncle starts to get uneasy. When you're responsible for 3 boys running around in a forest, you tend to. He yells for us to get back to the campfire. Almost right after he said that, we hear a loud crack, and I hear one of my cousins cry out, then a thud followed by silence. My uncle bolts towards the sound to find my cousin on the ground in the fetal position. He picks him up and puts him on his feet. He is bleeding from the back of his head. We determine he was struck. Okay, no longer a game. Shit just got real. My uncle shouts something like, "Whoever is out there better show themselves, 'cause if I find you first, you're going to regret it." Go back to the campfire. For a few more hours, we hear nothing. We decide to go to sleep. All of us in the tent and almost asleep when we hear it. The cracking is back. My uncle decides, screw this, I'm going out. Pulls his pistol and turns on the light on his phone. He tells us to stay there. We're all up, just sitting in the tent. We hear more crunching, and then 2 loud gunshots, followed by deep-pitched laughing or screaming. We're all freaked out because we don't hear our uncle any longer. We're all thinking the worst. Then we hear a boat start up. Oh shit, son. We run out to find our uncle standing looking out at the water, with our boat right where we left it, only to barely see an old junky boat putting away into the distance. He tells us he fired off the rounds to scare whatever it was away. We go back to sleep and don't hear anything after that. At first we thought it was Bigfoot or some shit, but after seeing the boat hightail it out of there, and my cousin being attacked, we knew someone had docked on the shore and was stalking us. When we got home, we told my other uncle about it, who was a guide at the time. And he told us we most likely got too close to pot farmers and they were trying to scare us off and away from their fields. We could never find the specific cove again. Not that we would want to. TLDR, crazy pot farmers were creeping on us.
Okay, so it's my first time posting anything on 4chan, so be nice. Here's my story. So one time I got kicked out of my house after fighting with my dad. I was about 13 to 14 at the time. I walked around my small town and broke into a shit ton of cars, stealing lots of cash. I thought I saw someone, so I booked it towards the woods near the creek. I was feeling really bad for stealing. I was running through thick bushes and I felt a presence of something. I was almost to the small stream that broke off the creek when I stopped for a second, knowing something was wrong. Then I heard a scream of something that wasn't human. It was terrifying, and I couldn't move. I couldn't see what made it, but I knew it was only a few feet away. After a few seconds, I started reciting Bible verses and such, as I was a Christian, not the best, as you can see. I felt a little less scared, but the thing screamed again. I started throwing rocks and sticks and anything I could, but whatever it wasn't fazed. Then I had this overwhelming feeling of danger, and I ran as fast as I could through the little stream, hoping it wasn't following me. It could have been a fox or a mountain lion, but I know it wasn't. Sometimes I feel as if it followed me and watches me every so often through my window. Does anyone have any idea what it was? I live in Northern California, by the way. Oh, and a few people I have talked to have seen weird shit around town, like large gray figures like ghouls, the ones that eat dead flesh. I am still spooked to this day.
Having a psychotic breakdown. Prescribed a cocktail of pills to make the hallucinations go away. Midday on the ride to my brother's apartment. I decided to go with my mom even though I took my medicine. The medicine makes me tired. I feel like sleeping when we arrive there. There's a tent that's conveniently set up in the backyard of the apartment buildings. Lay down in the tent and try to rest. Hear thumping noises like a little kid is running around the tent. Wakes me up a little. Okay, what the fuck? I'm tired. I think it's my brother's girlfriend's little kid running around the backyard. More thumping. I can feel the thumps vibrating across the ground into my body. Get up and look outside the tent. Nobody there. What the fuck? I can't remember the rest of that day now. At my brother's house again, sleeping in the room with his girlfriend's kid. Earlier that night, I remember thinking about what the kid's mom said. Ananya says that there's ghosts in her room. I'm still breaking down psychotically at this point, so I don't mind sleeping with the lights on. In the middle of the night, I wake up and their cat, Fluffy, is sleeping by my feet. Feel safer because Kitty is there. I hear something weird coming from the living room. It sounds like someone or something dragging themselves across the floor. I can also hear this kind of paper flipping noise. Think it's the other cat just playing. More thumping, dragging, scratching noises. That's not the cat. Lay in bed. Try to go back to sleep. Later on, I wake up. The kid left the room like she knew something was there. Hear a creepy, low, guttural voice say, "Bow wow." Laying in bed, scared. Wait for what seems like a half hour. Gather the courage to get up and walk around the corner and go into my brother's room. The kid is sleeping on the edge of the bed. I get on the edge of the bed next to the kid so I don't have to sleep on the floor. The bed looks like a traveling circus. Wake up later. Brother and girlfriend get all pissy at each other because we both came in the room and laid on their bed. They get into a fight and we end up sleeping in the living room. This is a real short one now. Once again at my brother's apartment, we need to borrow an onion. People are ghetto and the whole family lives in the apartment building. so we just walk over to take an onion from the neighbor. It's dark as shit. All I can see is a baby's high chair and the kitchen table. I hear something rolling around on the floor and the heater rattling. It's summer, by the way. Don't feel as scared because my brother is in there. Get the onion and get the fuck out. This apartment was located right across the hall, so I pretty much figured all the paranormal shit was coming from there and spilling into my brother's apartment. Seriously, fuck that place.
Yeah, be a few weeks ago. Watching spooky movies. Sinister comes on. Good spoops out of 10. Finish the movie. Now 3:30 a.m. Getting tired. Backstory. Be 19-year-old jobless NEET, waiting for mature age admittance into uni. Aussie. And live with parents who like country living. So big property. Very bushy. The property is actually a lot like the one from Sinister. Look out the window. Heard dogs barking. A tree branch snaps. See something move in the bushes behind a tree. The dogs stop barking. Start whimpering and walking towards the door. Fuck that noise.png. Run to bed. Have bed right against the window. The window is a complete wall one. It was the only spot in my room left after I arranged my PC in perfect place. Look out the window. See someone standing right at the head of my bed on the outside of the window. Game over, man. Hear subtle whispering, but the words are indiscernible. It's very chant-like. Don't sleep. The whispering stops at sunrise. Since then, the dogs don't sleep outside anymore. My parents heard the whispering too, apparently. Can still see a man walking around on our property at night sometimes, but never close up like the first night.
This isn't paranormal, but still was very frightening for me, and I still have nightmares about it intermittently, even as an adult. Grew up in a not-so-good neighborhood. Economic disparity abound. Not quite on the level of inner-city Detroit, but very close to it in terms of severity and, incidentally, physical proximity. Late 90s, I was 15. My mother had just started seeing this biker guy and would leave for 2 to 3 days at a time to go camping with him. He was a nice enough guy, and I liked being left alone and listening to loud music. It didn't particularly bother me. On one such occasion in the summer, I was down in my basement playing Dragon Force for the Saturn. Hear the glass door upstairs slide open and shut. Just yelled upstairs, "Ma," thinking my mother had come back early. No response. Didn't rush upstairs. Kept playing for nearly an hour probably. A ton of footsteps, chairs sliding around in the dining room. Anyways, when I do shut the game and TV off to go get food or something, I immediately hear a sort of low rambling that sounds nothing at all like my mother, but is distinctly female. There were some complete thoughts that frankly I don't remember, but what I do remember was the voice kept repeating, "Why is this happening to me?" And also just saying why, and why me, incessantly. I'm sort of taken aback because my mother never had any female friends over the house, and her and my aunt hadn't spoken in several years after messing with the same dude, which were the only two things I could think of. I walk really quietly up these old wooden steps we had going down there. The basement door opens up into the kitchen, and when I open up the door, I look around and don't see anything immediately. But the talking stops. When I actually come out into the kitchen as opposed to looking through the open door from the last step, I see this woman in her mid-40s, maybe 50s, looking out the window in my kitchen into the front yard. One of her hands she has pressed up against the wall has a small gun in it. I don't know if it was a real gun to this day, in all honesty, but I've never frozen like that purely out of fear in my entire life aside from that moment. Genuinely thought I was going to die. My eyes welled up with tears, like when you get extremely flustered or frustrated by something to the nth degree. Literally bolted for the glass sliding door and threw it open. Run out onto the concrete patio area that all the poor people housing shared. 4, maybe 5 houses in that area. And I have a hard time remembering exactly what I was thinking, but for whatever reason I just started yelling, "Hey!" hoping someone would notice, I guess. I got out onto the road toward the back of the buildings beyond the patio area and looked back, and she hadn't come out of the house. Ran up to 2 random doors, knocked on them. An old dude answered one and let me use his phone, and got really spooked when I told him what happened. Called the police and called my mom. The ending is underwhelming because when the police got there, she was long gone. We filed a report but never heard anything except that 2 people had tried to rob a liquor store nearby. Not spooky or paranormal, I know, but it still scares the shit out of me thinking about how I felt that day.
Be me, 20 years old. Be working in a warehouse in Manchester. The warehouse is divided into 2 buildings, one of which happens to be door to door with an old house, where a guy hung himself after killing someone years back. Be in that second building, like a storage place, all alone. Close the door behind me, grab a pump truck and roll down. Suddenly, at the end of a big aisle, I see a dark figure walking, just to disappear around a corner. Thing is, it made no sound, and was all black. Looked like his clothes and body were one thing, like a humanoid block of darkness. Drop my shit, leave everything, bang the door open with my foot, go after my supervisor, a huge white guy with the figure of an MMO fighter. Scream, "Anon, there is someone in the warehouse next door. Grab that baseball bat, hail United, and let's go." We go there, me shitting bricks, him calm but nervous, not saying a single word. Search the whole place. Not one suspicious piece of evidence of someone being there. Also, fucked up thing is, on the second floor of that building, every single week, there are new piles of dead pigeons. Just dead pigeons. That was the last time I was there.
I got a few. Here's one. Probably the most recent as it happened a year ago. My now ex moves in. She has some boxes upstairs. Keeps saying my house is haunted. Lol, okay. Her mom has surgery. She moves back with her. While she's gone, I constantly hear something shuffling upstairs. Go up into the closet. Everything is normal. Shuffling keeps happening. We break up. She comes to get her boxes. The noises stop. Haven't heard anything since. Be 16-ish-year-old me. Just laid down to go to bed. Laying on my side, knees bent a bit. Feel the portion of the bed where my knees are bent pushed down. Feels like something is in the bed with me. Stays there until I fall asleep. Wake up. The feeling is gone. This and one other moment, which I'm going to tell here soon, are the only times that I actually felt something. I'm normally pretty rational when it comes to ghosts, since a lot of experiences people have can be explained, but I still don't know what could have caused this compression on my bed. Visiting family in Illinois. Go to a friend's house. Midsummer night, very humid. Spend the night at my friend's house. Humid in their house as well. About to go upstairs to play some games. Take one step on the stairs. Feel a cold rush of air pass through me. Tingles up my spine. Goosebumps. Ask my friend if he felt that. He says no. Go upstairs. Start shaking uncontrollably. Really cold, even though it's warm in their house. He puts me on his brother's bed, covers me up with 5 blankets. Still shaking. Manage to go to sleep. Wake up in the middle of the night. Still shaking. Go back to sleep. End up waking the next day feeling fine. Never felt like that before and haven't had it happen since. Normally I would say that I just got sick, but I didn't feel sick besides just being cold. So I don't know if it was anything spooky that went through me or not.
Okay, I'm new here. But this thread is interesting, so I'm going to contribute what little and decidedly dull experience I've had. Be me. Attending a semi-rural high school. Recently turned 16. End of school day. Walking across the rugby pitch at the school's front to the pub car park where I get picked up from. Welcome to Britain.png. Walking along the driveway or crappy attempt at a road that connects the school and main road where the pub is. Was let out of school about 15 minutes early thanks to the physics teacher. So was entirely unaccompanied on the circa 100-foot stretch of driveway and bus stop, which runs next to the sports fields. Walking about 3 feet from the curb. Get shoved hard in the shoulder. Go over sideways like a sack of bricks. Poise and grace.jpg. Get up and turn around to see the culprit. No one there. The entire place is unoccupied, save the car that's pulled up at the school's gate and the teacher that came out to meet it. About 100 feet away. Guess I just derped over sideways. Wouldn't be the first time anyhow. Think nothing of it. Go home. Notice a faint hand-shaped bruise on my shoulder. Well, shit.bmp. Knowing me, I probably did just fall over and forget where the bruise came from, but I thought I'd take a punt and share this. I'll go back to lurking now.
Walking past one of my college classroom buildings on the way back to my dorm at night. There is a pair of vending machines right next to the main door, and I'm thirsty as hell, so I tug on the handle, expecting it not to budge. It's about 4 hours after the building closes. It opens. I walk in and get my drink. Hear music coming from the second floor. It sounds a bit familiar, but too muffled to recognize. Decide to head up. The song ends as soon as I reach the top of the stairs, starting a new one. It's Mr. Bad Guy by Freddie Mercury. Notice a shadow moving down the hall as it begins. Let's go chasing rainbows in the sky. A figure emerges from the dark end of the corridor, moving unnaturally. It's my invitation. A short old woman with blue-gray hair wearing an old Walkman-type device does some sort of marching aerobics routine with a small purple dumbbell in each hand. I'm Mr. Bad Guy-y. I look into her beady black eyes and see nothing. She looks like she has something to prove. I feel something shoot down my spine and my heart rate surges. I've never had my fight or flight mechanism triggered like this before. I'm Mr. Bad Guy. They're all afraid of me. I bolt right and down an adjacent hall, fleeing down a parallel set of stairs back to the first floor, running back to the exit. The music echoing from near the first staircase has gotten louder. I run outside and don't stop until the building is out of my line of sight. Gasping, I realize how ridiculous the whole thing was. I have not yet known a greater fear than that night, and not for a lack of trying.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.